Okay, so if you're a frontalier or you're about to become one, there is something that no one really talks about, and it's literally costing people hundreds of euros every single month. Like you work in Switzerland, you get paid in Swiss francs, and you transfer it into your French or German or your own country's bank account and move on with your life, right? But that's exactly the problem. Because the way most frontaliers do that transfer, they're losing money, a lot of it, and they have no idea. In this video, I'm going to break down the 3 things you need to get right to actually keep as much of your Swiss salary as possible once it hits your bank account. To keep as much of your Swiss salary as possible once it hits, in my case, France. And I'm going to give you the real numbers so you can see exactly what I mean. So let's start with factor number 1. And honestly, this one alone could save you a few hundred euros a year, which is how you actually move your money from Switzerland to France. In this example, I'm going to use France. Here's what most people do. They get paid in Swiss francs into their Swiss bank account, and then they just ask the Swiss bank to transfer it to their French bank account. Done, right? No, because your Swiss bank is taking fees on that transfer, and on top of that, they're applying their own exchange rate, which is not the real rate. They add a margin on top, and you don't necessarily see it because it's baked into the rate they show you. It looks fine on the surface, but it's not the mid-market rate, which is the actual real rate between Swiss francs and euros. Right now in 2026, the real CHF euro rate is sitting around 1.08, 1.09, meaning for every Swiss franc you convert, you should be getting roughly 1.08, 1.09 euros. But if your bank is converting it at, say, 1.05, you are getting fewer euros per franc, and that difference goes straight into their pocket. So on a 5,000 Swiss franc salary, that's potentially up to 150 to 200 euros lost in a single transfer, just from the rate margin alone. What you should be doing instead is using a dedicated currency transfer platform like Wise or Revolut. This gives you a rate which is much closer to the real mid-market rate, and their fees are transparent. You see exactly what you're paying before you confirm. I use Wise personally, and I've linked it below if you want to check it out. It is genuinely one of those things where once you switch, you kind of can't believe you weren't doing it sooner. So factor number 2. So this is something I think which is super underestimated, which is the exchange rate risk. And this one is interesting because it affects you even if you do everything right with your transfer. So you earn the same salary every month, 5,000 Swiss francs, but the amount that lands into your French account is going to be different every single month because the Swiss franc euro rate moves every day. This year alone, it's gone from around 1.07 all the way up to 1.11. That doesn't sound like a lot, but on a 5,000 Swiss franc salary, that's the difference between receiving 5,350 euros one month and 5,550 euros another month. That's 200 euros difference. Same salary, just a different day. And just to be clear, this isn't a mistake or a problem that you can fix. It's just the reality of being paid in one currency and living in another. But you need to budget around it, which means not treating your highest Swiss franc months as your new normal and then wondering why you're short the next month. Factor number 3. This is about managing your day-to-day spending in Switzerland. Most Swiss employers actually require you to have a Swiss bank account. So that part isn't really a choice. Your salary gets paid into Switzerland regardless. The real question is what you do with that account beyond receiving your salary. So ask yourself, am I making a lot of purchases in Switzerland? Gym membership, restaurants, groceries, phone plan? If yes, then keeping some of your money in your Swiss account and spending it directly in CHF makes sense. It means that you're not converting unnecessarily and losing money on the exchange every time you use your card. But if most of your actual life and spending is in France, then you want to think carefully about how much you leave sitting in Switzerland and how much you transfer across, because every conversion is a moment where you either lose money or save it, depending on how you do it. So there is no one size fits all answer here. It really comes down to what your actual life looks like. So to recap, 3 factors: how you transfer your salary, the exchange rate fluctuation you need to plan around, and how you manage your Swiss spending to avoid unnecessary conversions. So get those 3 things right, and you will feel a real difference in what you have actually left at the end of the month. If this was useful, I have more videos on Frontalier life right here on this channel. Things like health insurance, how to get a Swiss job, and what is actually the real costs of living in France versus Switzerland. So stick around and I'll see you in the next one.